Hello again. So this video is the second part of a two-part series where I rank the best and the worst map pack demons from my experience of playing the map packs in Geometry Dash. So last time I talked about the top 10 best map packs, and this time I'm going to be talking about the top 10 worst. One kind of big flaw with the other video that I kind of noticed was that I struggled to come up with a lot of things to say for the levels, as most of them really aren't that good. There are still a couple really good ones. However, like, I kind of struggled to make anything, honestly. However, for the worst map pack levels, I found myself finding tons of things to say. I had a lot of opinions on some of these levels, and I found it very easy to end up writing mini essays on why these levels are terrible. So, I mean, I guess that's one thing to look forward to. But that's also kind of why this video is a whole lot longer than the previous one. But, I mean, I definitely do feel like this video might be a little bit better. I'm not too terribly sure. I definitely think I might have more interesting things to say, and I definitely did a little bit more about defending my position on the levels that I chose. I think that's honestly because to criticize stuff, you know, you need to be more direct rather than like in the best, where I'm just like, I mean, it's good. So I definitely think that's probably why this video is a lot longer. Overall, I think that this might be a better video. However, I really honestly don't know. However, I honestly hope that you enjoy this video. So let's go ahead and get on to the list. Number 10, Demon Jumper by an unknown player from Demon Pack 4. We just started this list and this level is an absolute dumpster fire. This level has it all: barely functioning and boring gameplay, awful structuring and decoration, even for 1.5 to 1.6, and just terrible color choices. So when this level isn't barely functional, it's just incredibly boring. This level is probably the most nothing level I've ever played. Then we get to the decoration and it's just a mess. The only part that like seems semi-coherent is probably the first cube, but after that it's just random designs and just hazards placed haphazardly everywhere. And then we get to the colors and oh my lord, it's like, I don't need to explain to you why these colors suck. I mean, like, what happened? Now, despite me being incredibly harsh to this level, I still put it at number 10 because honestly it's quite easy and you really won't spend much time on it. Because honestly, all you really have to do is just figure out how to get past the bugs in the gameplay and you're basically home free. However, and then I guess the cherry on top for this level being easy is that the last 20% is just completely empty and there's nothing there. Number 9, Sky Realm by the Real Darnock from Demon Pack 4. Yet another Demon Pack 4 level. However, this one is the last one that will appear here. So, welcome to Blind Input Central, folks. This level usually kind of takes place up high in the editor, you know, kind of hence the name Sky Realm. However, that is pretty risky when you're making gameplay, you know, especially for old creators, because that kind of leads you to falling off the screen a lot and the camera moving around a lot. That means that it's very easy to make blind inputs. However, whenever you go to actually playtest the level in the editor, you can see those blind inputs, and then by the time you go to like practice it in like actual normal mode, you already know that those are there, so you don't notice the blind inputs. Honestly, the best example of what I'm talking about probably is like 60 to 75%. As you can see, like there's like a lot of blind orbs and blind jumps at that part of the level. And then probably the worst jump in that whole section is 73. because like what happens is like there's a platform underneath that you can't see, but so you kind of have to buffer to get it. However, it's very easy to hold too long and jump on the next platform that you're jumping onto and die. Now my problem with that obviously isn't because it's hard, it's because it's just annoying to play. Like, I don't enjoy it, it just serves to annoy me. Another big stinker for this level is all the ball parts, both of them. Just, oh my lord, they are so buggy. Like, you will just hit an orb and it will just launch you too far or not far enough, and like you're like, but why did that not work? And then there's like the section from 75 to the last ball is just a bunch of blind jumps after each other, which I mean is like, I kind of started to expect it from this level. So in conclusion, blind inputs, that's literally all this level is, and that's why it made it onto number 9. Number 8, Apocalyptic Eve by Mask 463 from Demon Pack 5. Now, the last level suffered from a lot of blind inputs, however this one suffers from mirror portal transitions and too many gravity switches. So let's talk about the mirror portals. Oh my lord, they are terrible. Like, they're just everywhere. Like, almost every single mirror portal has a timing in them, or like right after, so like you basically are just, it's still blind, and it's so annoying to do, and that makes this level very hard to read. And if you kind of get lost for a second, it's very hard to like recenter yourself back into the level, and that adds to this level being quite hard to learn. And then another reason why this level is really confusing and really hard to learn is there's a lot of different gravity changes like everywhere. Like, it'll just go up and down, and just the constant changing just makes it really hard to read and very annoying to play. It is kind of satisfying once you get it down, but like I was still annoyed playing this level, especially because actually I played a level like this before, and it was annoying to see it again. Now, this is really only the first half of the level, and the second half of the level isn't as bad. However, it's kind of just boring. The only real notable part here is that there's like a bunch of gravity portals all next to each other that like you kind of have to make an annoyingly specific jump to get through, which I mean I kind of predicted when I first saw that, but it's still not great. And then you get to the last 10% and like it's just so laughably bad. Like, I can't take this level seriously anymore after seeing that last 10%. So I'm just gonna move on. Number 7, Mechanic Downforce by Zintic Alpha from Demon Pack 15. This level looks really cool, however, it has incredibly annoying gameplay. The biggest problem here is that you really aren't given the time to breathe in the cube and ball sections. In addition to that, those same sections are also littered with a bunch of fakes and awkward timings, so this level is both really confusing and hard to learn. And I know I've been complaining about memorization in these levels a lot, especially on this list. But like, I don't mind memorization at all, as it's actually one of the things I do like in some levels. However, this level is just, there's like no flow to the gameplay, and it doesn't really sync with the song very well. So that kind of makes it doesn't make it feel natural once you kind of learn the level. And so it's very hard to like be like, oh yeah, I need to jump here instead of fall. Kind of one big culprit of what I'm talking about is 49 to 61%, where there's just so much going on. Like at 50, you have to like time these like jumps like way later than it looks like you have to, while going through these structures where it's very hard to tell apart what you have to jump on, what's jumpable and what you can't jump on. And then like next you'll have to like jump into a gravity portal, you know, that looks like a normal gravity portal, but you have to jump into it. It's just, you know, it's all these different things, and so this level is really hard to learn. and ugh, I hate it. Then another part that is very similar is like 74 to 90%. However, unlike the other part, it's more like the problem is that you have a lot of fakes caused by disappearing spikes everywhere. And so like if you like even lose focus for even a second here, you're done. It's gone. And once again, I actually played a level that was like this, and I actually really liked it. And I think the level I'm referring to is Polyatomic. I forget who the creator is, but it is a mega collab. And like this level was so intense when you played it. And like if you made a mistake, you were probably as good as done. However, the level had very good flow and synced with the song incredibly well. So you know that made it fun rather than here where it's just like, oh, what do I do? And also to add more frustration to this level, it's an easy demon. However, it's about as close as you can get to a medium demon because of all the memorization. The only reason why this level isn't lower, because I've been complaining about it a lot, is because I actually think the level looks really good. Like, Zintic Alpha has some really good decoration in his levels, which I can't deny. However, I can complain about his gameplay, which is terrible. Number 6, Cyber Paradise by Tonar98 from Demon Pack 8. So we haven't even made it to the first click in this level and it's already a blind jump. So you know this level is good. Now this level doesn't have as many blind jumps as Skyrealm does. However, most of them are like, you know, timings or like not buffer inputs like in Skyrealm. Actually, I mean Skyrealm does have a couple non-buffer ones, but more of these are non-buffer or just more annoying to time. One example of what I'm talking about is 29, which is like very specific and you can't really see where you're going or have enough time to like kind of orient yourself correctly, and it makes it very annoying. And then I guess that kind of leads into the rest of the first half, which is just learning the path to take. But like there's like a lot of parts where you have to jump in spots that you wouldn't think you would have to jump into, and also of course blind jumps, because this is an old map pack level, so you gotta have those. Thankfully, like, you know, kind of the stretch from 50 to 75% is pretty chill. Not too notable, but not too bad. However, then you get to the last 25%, and this is where this level really shows why I hate it. So a lot of this ending section is just orb spam. It's like three orbs, however like 2 of them are pink and then 1 of them's blue, and then you'll fly up and you'll do that again, and it's just, it kind of syncs to Time Machine but not really. And it's also buggy, and because this orb spam is buggy, there's a transition into the ball at 78% where if you like spam incorrectly or like too late, because like, you know how spam works, you know, sometimes it's very inconsistent. Yeah, you'll just die. You'll fly up too high because, of course, this level was not play tested. And then until the level ends, you just got more buggy orbs. So basically, the gameplay of this level is just terrible and buggy. Moving to the decoration, I'm gonna be honest here. It's one of the best map decorations in a map pack demon. Probably top 3. Like it's such a simple concept. However, it is done so well here. And like there's like so many different variations on like, you know, kind of this, you know, like glowing structure that, and it just looks really good. Which is why it's so frustrating that such good decoration was in a level that was so annoying to play. And that's honestly part of the reason why I hate this level so much, because it feels like this great decoration idea was just wasted. So I mean, like, although this level doesn't have as many, you know, memorization sections as Mechanical Downforce or as many blind jumps as Skyrealm, the fact that this level, you know, this level still has terrible gameplay, and I feel like its decoration was wasted on it. That is why I feel that this level deserves to be placed at number 6 on the worst map pack demons ever. Number 5, Flappy Weird by the Superbot from Demon Pack 11. Now here's a classic dumpster fire that you were probably expecting to land on this list. So when this level isn't incredibly frustrating, it's mind-numbingly boring. The hardest part of this level is the first 20%, because like little tiny variations in when you click will mess you up due to how tight the spaces are in these early parts. However, if you can get past the first 20%, the odds of you fluking this level are very high, as 30 to 80% are really easy as long as you have done a practice mode of it at least once. Because like I think there's like a part at like 60 that does require sight reading because it's at like 3 times speed. And then after that, you have the last 20%, which is just UFO spam. So it's also quite easy to do. However, it's UFO spam. So obviously no one likes Flappy Bird levels. So obviously a demon difficulty Flappy Bird level was going to be terrible. This perception of this level being terrible isn't helped by the sporadic obstacles and extremely inconsistent decoration. So like what I mean by that is like the level uses a wide variety of block designs, which actually is something I praise about Rafer's levels. However, Rafer actually, you know, like it makes his variation is, you know, makes sense. It still consists to a theme. This level just feels like it's just trying to fill space with whatever it can. And honestly, like, you probably don't need me to tell you why the decoration is terrible. And in fact, you probably don't need me to tell you why this level sucks, because I mean, just look at it. It doesn't look fun. So honestly, the only reason why you should ever even touch this level is if you were trying to beat all the map packs. But most people don't want to do that anyway. Number 4, Starquake by Mask463 from Demon Pack 2. This level is everything wrong with Apocalyptic Eve's gameplay, but cranked up to 11. So every single one of my criticisms there apply here. This level is also just as confusing as Mechanic Downforce, so this level is kind of a merging of those two. So obviously we are back to the constant gravity changes and mirror portal transitions, which makes this level impossible to sight read. I mean, you can't really expect to be able to sight read the demon level, but like come on. So once you do learn this level, it mostly just comes down to knowing when to hold and knowing when not to hold, but like that's the hard part. And then actually doing it is a whole nother story. So the hardest part of this level, in my opinion, was the 70s, which is kind of hard to explain why it's so difficult. So you kind of just have to play the level for yourself. But all I'm just gonna say is it's just literally every single bad thing about the memory in this level, but somehow worse. Now moving away from me complaining about memorization in this level, let's go to more about like individual moments that are terrible. Like 31%. So what happens here is like, so you go up and then you hit this blue pad that's right before this pink orb, that's right before a yellow portal. What you have to do is click right after the blue pad changes your gravity, so somehow it works. I don't understand exactly why this works, but it does. Thankfully this part does get consistent once you learn it, but I'm just like, what was Mask thinking when he made that? However, there is another annoying part that does not get consistent, aka 50%. The percent, the myth, the legend, the absolute unit itself. It's just a choke point. It actually used to be auto in older versions of this level, but then Mask buffed this level for some reason because he thought this level needed to be buffed, but I don't think it did. So yeah. Thankfully, once you get past all this annoying stuff, the last 15% is literally free. However, it does not save this level, so this level lands at number 4. Number 3, Windings by Rabbit from Demon Pack 8. So for this whole list, we've been talking about levels with awkward memory parts. However, we haven't really talked about a level that had both awkward memory and awkward ship gameplay. Well, this level has both of those, so let's just kind of skip past the usual memory parts are terrible. However, but before we get to the ship stuff, I would like to say the blue orb at 40% and UFO at 46% and the ball at 52% are all quite terrible, mainly because they have bad orb placements, spike placements, or both at the same time. But enough about that. Let's talk about the ship parts, which aren't fun somehow. A lot of them are actually very challenging, but also very frustrating. Partly because like they use that, you know, like really tight like ship that goes like up and down and stuff like that. So these like really tight like saw-like structures, but aren't quite saws. Kind of what I'm talking about is like 17%, or like I think like there's like a part like that in like the 80s. It's kind of stuff that you would see in the Michigan Temple levels, which I actually didn't like those ships in those levels either. Is this a skill issue? Yeah, but let me ask you this. Do you really want to play a ship section like that? I'm assuming you don't, so shut up. Also, this is just another one of those terrible Clubstep remakes, where you also have those Clubstep monsters with the disappearing spikes, which are also very annoying in this level, especially in the ship parts. And in addition to that, you also have a lot of different like size and gravity changes, making the ship parts even more awkward to play. The reason why this level is so terrible is because there's no fun to be had in the gameplay. There's very little sync, and flow is basically non-existent. What makes this even better is that this level is a meeting demon, so you get to suffer with all of this for way longer than you'd want to. To comment on the decoration really quick, it's pretty mid. Not terrible or great. It's kind of just middle of the road. Honestly, there isn't a lot I can say about this level that I haven't already beaten into your skull by this point. So I'm just gonna say that this level is terrible and it should be placed in number 3. Number 2, Buck Force by Rob Buck from Demon Pack 17. Buck Force by Rob Buck. What a level you are. Enough said. Just like in my top 10 best map pack demons video, I will have a few honorable mentions. Nah, I'm just messing with you. I actually do want to tear into Buck Force, so let's go back to that. Okay, so Buck Force is essentially a troll level that somehow got raided and then put into the map packs. And since this is a troll level, that means it's a memory level too. However, why is this one so much worse than the others? I feel like it has to do with the nature of the memory gameplay, because it's more of like a troll level. To like describe what I'm talking about, it has to do with like the levels before kind of had structure and not really this one, because this level kind of just floods you with pickup paths and giant mazes at every turn. I know that all the other levels did this stuff like this, but it's just different here. I get a different feel here. It just feels like the creator was just trying to do everything in his power to annoy you as much as possible. You know, but on the other hand, you know, the other levels, I mean, there was some sort of competence. Like, I feel like there was actual effort put in here, even if they kind of just sucked. The section in this level that explains what I'm talking about is 72 to 78%, where the level just basically falls apart and you're forced to figure out the correct way through this terrible and buggy maze. Like, I did not have fun trying to figure out all this BS. And I guess that also kind of leads me into the decoration, which I say decoration in air quotes. I don't even need to explain the problem here. It's just a complete mess. I mean, look at it. Like, does it look good to you? Then the level decides to end with one last middle finger by putting a giant wall of blocks in your way right before the end. So this level was originally number 1 on my list, but then I remembered there was one other dumpster fire that somehow beat it. Just like in my top 10 best Mac Pack videos, I also put a few honorable mentions. However, because this is the worst list, they're gonna be dishonorable mentions. Obviously, these are bad levels that just barely missed this list, because the levels that made it onto the list are just much worse. So let's not delay the video any further. Dishonorable mention number 1, The Lightning Road by Real Timeless from Demon Pack 3. So this is one of the OG easiest demons in the game. So this level might be easy, but that doesn't blind me to the faults in this level. It's generally not well put together, and the gameplay is kind of all over the place, and it just has a lack of structuring everywhere. Like, this decoration is awful. I forgot how bad this level looked. Now, the reason why this level didn't make the list was I actually did kind of enjoy the gameplay, even if it wasn't like well structured. I can't say it wasn't incompetent, so that's kind of why I ended up choosing this level not to be in the top 10. Dishonorable mention 2, Time Pressure by Aeon Air from Demon Pack 13. The funny level by Aeon Air got a mention in this video. Ignoring the fact that this level is memed a lot, it's just not good. The UFO part in this level is a massive choke point, and like it's probably the only reason why this level even got the demon rating. Also, for some weird reason, the level loses sync during the last ship. I think it's because like Aeon must have unchecked some of the speed changers, and that caused him to build the level incorrectly. And there's also a lot of blind jumps in this level. Now, this level didn't make the list because it really isn't that bad. It's more just kind of a mediocre level, but the couple of problems that it does have kind of brought it down to where it is now. Dishonorable mention number 3, Restricted Area by Xanthic Alpha from Demon Pack 11. This level only has 2 really annoying and buggy spots, that being 21 to 40%, which is only really annoying because there's some really terrible timings, and then you got 61% for being a just blind and difficult jump. The only other part that I would say is kind of bad in this level is probably 80 to 92. However, it is nowhere near as bad as 21 to 40%. If it wasn't for 21 to 40%, this level probably wouldn't even be here. But with it, it's on the dishonorable mention list here. And last thing before I move on, the decoration is kind of not super great, especially for Xanthic Alpha standards. Number 1, Darna Can't Let Go by BKid1442 from Demon Pack 12. Before I get into why I hate this level, I believe that I should give some context as to the situation I was playing this level under. This level is one of those levels that's impossible in high refresh rate because like there's a part early on to the level where you have to buffer all your inputs, but the spikes are too close together, which makes it impossible on high refresh rates. So that meant I had to beat this level on 60 Hz, which I definitely feel like may have lowered my opinion of the level. However, I also feel like I would still hate this level even if I was able to play it on 144 Hz. However, since this is my list, I'm just going to go ahead and get to why I hate this level. So the beginning of this level is probably the best part. That's really all it is. There's only like a couple of blind jumps, and there's a few kind of stupid jump ring timings, but like it's not that bad, honestly. But then the drop starts, and this is where this level really starts to get annoying. Now, before we actually get to talk about the drop, I get to talk to about the transition into the drop, which I died to once, and I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. It's just like, but why? So once you actually get into the drop, it's just more awkward jump ring timings and a lot more blind jumps. And also because the background is black, the creator decided to hide ground spikes in there where you can't see them and they'll just kill you if you're not careful. And actually that makes the jump at 31% oh so fun. And yes, this is all memory part 2. Then you get to a ball part that requires every click to be buffered, but you will still die even if you did buffer your inputs. That's because the cube before also has to have its last few inputs buffered too, because this level was play tested very well. Then we go to the most mid part of this level where nothing really happens for like the highest or like the peak of Can't Let Go, while the background is assaulting your eyes with the constant flashing. Then the level ends with long auto sections that are randomly broken up with triple spikes or just places that you don't feel like you need to jump. Then the level decides to end once again with one last middle finger, because after the song ends you still have more spikes to jump over. However, there's a catch. The screen is black and there's a wall of saws blocking you and preventing you from completing the rest of the level. To actually figure out how to get past this, I had to go into the editor of the level and figure out that the last spike had to be done as like kind of a triple spike, because of course there was some blocks right after that spike that had no hitboxes, and I was just supposed to know this. So I went back to practice and I did the jump, but still died because there was another off-screen jump orb like right before the end of the level. I'm like, why? And to kind of put you in context just how dumb this last jump is, I died to it 3 times from 0. And it's actually a lot harder than a normal triple spike because the blocks have like a larger hitbox, so like you can like hit the corners. And if you hit the corners of the blocks, you still die. So, in conclusion, this level can just not. Well, that was my top 10 worst map pack demons. I definitely feel like there's probably a couple levels that some people were probably expecting to be on this list that didn't make it, namely PG Clubstep and maybe Ripple's Adventure. So maybe I guess I should talk about those levels, as those are pretty infamous for being terrible. In the case of PG Clubstep, I mean, like, everyone was saying it was like the worst thing ever, and like, it's not a good level honestly, but like I can't really say it was that bad. It was definitely pretty trolly, but like I also felt like the level was pretty structured and it did kind of get fun, unlike, you know, something like Black Force, which was just annoying. I honestly found PG Clubstep to be kind of fun. And then with Ripple's Adventure, honestly, there was only like one part that was like really bad, and I think it was like in the 60s or so, because like there's like these spikes in like these ship corridors, but you have to launch yourself into these cube portals from the ship. Because of the spikes there, however, you couldn't go too high, which was very easy to do, and it was just awful to play. However, with those two justifications out of the way, I hope you enjoyed this video. I think it might be a little bit better quality than the other one, as I have a little bit more experience than I did when I made the top 10 best video. I really honestly don't know, but it's I'm definitely happy with how both of these videos turned out, and I hope that if anyone does end up watching them, that they did enjoy them too. So, have a good day, and I don't know if I'm ever going to voice a video again.